Hi guys, welcome back to another Star Wars review. Next up for today we're going to be taking a look at, well it's not a figure this time, it's actually going to be a vehicle that we're taking a look at. And this is one that was released as part of the Vintage Collection with the re-release, and that is this one here. That is Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. As you can see, it is very big. But before we look at this vehicle in detail, we'll take a look at the packaging this one comes in. So you see it's more of a box style, because it's presented as part of the... It's presented as though it is part of a set, but the figures seen on this aren't included. But it's not too bad for me because I actually already have all these figures anyway, so I can still recreate this scene. But you do get like a rundown of some of the different details that the thing has. But I just love the Vintage Collection style they've gone with on this. The fact that they've shown all the details as they should usually. And as you can see there, it is Luke Skywalker's Red 5 X-Wing from A New Hope, modelled like in the same package of the original version the X-Wing would have been released in back in the 80s, and seeing as I wasn't around then, this is the best thing I'm getting to it. But I did like the look of this when I got it as well, 'cause it just looks really good, because I got this for Christmas, so I just gotta think it just looks really good for something in the Vintage Collection, for the packaging, just to make it look retro and everything. There's no real description of the vehicle, just a rundown of different features you can get on the box, as well as scenes you can create with it. So yeah, so that's the packaging. Like I said, not much to do with that, other than just showing off what it is. But it's a really cool box, and it can come in handy for other stuff. So let's put that to the side, and now we'll get to the vehicle in question. So as you can see, it is very, very big. Like, there's my hand in comparison to it, so you can see just how much it is there. And there was, of course, two of these were released as part of the Vintage Collection. There is this one, which is Luke Skywalker's one, and then there was also an orange version, which is Poe Dameron's one from The Rise of Skywalker, because if you watch The Last Jedi, you may remember that his black one got destroyed when Kylo Ren fired missiles into it. But we still have, he has a new one for The Rise of Skywalker, and I've seen the movie 4 times. I've got to say I rather liked it, but I got them there. As you can see, it does open up the wings. This is simply done by a little lever. There's no indicated here. You simply lift that up and just put it into the slot there, and the wings sort of stay open like that. So you have the S-foils there, I was looking for, in attack position, and then you can have them in normal flight position like he does in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, or let's say again when he's attacking the Death Star in New Hope, or when Rey reaches Exegol in The Rise of Skywalker. But that is a cool feature just to have on this. Now the unfortunate thing about this is I actually don't have any space to store it, so you don't be looking to see it in any future collection updates anytime soon. But the rest, I've got it in a place where I can see it easily though. But I'm just looking at the sheer detail that Hasbro have gone into making this vehicle be what it is, and I can't really criticise it very much. I think the only thing really is the wings don't stay out wide enough, because that's not them at their maximum width, because you can actually push them to wider. When you're not using them, just push the engines up and they're actually a bit wider, and when you let go of them they come down a bit. So that's probably something they could have done a bit better, just to make them open as wide as possible. But that's not too much of a complaint. And of course, I said before, figures aren't included, so you have a slot there for R2, as I've just put him down in there. It's any R2 slots in there, because this one's from the Black Series 3¾ inch, because the Entertainer were doing their cheap figures, and this R2 was among those, so I figured, yeah, sure, I'll get another one of those, and that'll be fine. He sits nicely in there. And of course, the cockpit itself is open. It's a bit of a struggle, but you can get it open. And there you go, you can fit your Pilot Luke figure in there. As you see also on the side there is the targeting computer from episode 4. You can just bring that out and then stick it in front of him. It's a bit of a difficult task, but you can stick it in front of him like that. Sorry, just nudging the camera there. You can stick it in front of there like he does briefly in episode 4. And as you can see as well there, he's holding on to sort of handle. Just the details for controls as well something I've got to give the credit for with this great vehicle. I think there was a lot to be. There's a lot of praise to give Hasbro for it, and yeah, that panel can actually be removed from there 'cause it's actually attached to a string, so you can get Luke in and out easier, or any other Rebel pilot if you want to set anyone else in there, because this is a Red 5 set X-Wing, as you can tell by the stripes here. But there is you can even set, there's a Rebel pilot Grizz Fricks from Return of the Jedi. You could set him in there with his astromech droid if you have the Battle over Endor battle pack from the Legacy collection, because he is Red 5 in the Battle of Endor. Many of you wondering who Grizz Fricks is. He's basically an X-Wing pilot who is only briefly seen on screen in Return of the Jedi when they start attacking the Star Destroyers. You see him say, "I'm gonna blow," and his X-Wing blows up. So yeah, if you want to display it like that, you can display it like that. Yes, I think I think most people are just going to display it with Luke in. As I was saying, a little bit upon there is that the wings don't always line up correctly, and the guns can come off rather easily. They're just kind of, you slot them on, so it just kind of, when you just leave it standing up for a bit, you can just knock it off accidentally and it'll just come straight off. So I think maybe Hasbro could have included a sort of clip thing to sort of clip them into place instead of just slot them on, because that would have helped. Of course, as well, you do have the landing gear, so you can that simply just comes out, that with the engines there, and then at the front you have a slot for it to come. It just takes a while, but you have a slot that you open up at the front, and it sort of just it takes a while to get it out. You often require a good set of fingernails to get this part of the landing gear out. It's proving a bit of an issue for me right now as I try and do this. I might have to cut the video around and then see what'll then show it with them out. But I think I've got to it. If I just pull at it, and as you can see, they do come off. The guns do come off rather easily. So it could have been better if they clipped them in, as I said there. But yeah, it seems I'm having a bit of a problem getting one of these landing gear parts out of the. Oh no, I think I've got it. No, I haven't. Yeah, I think I'll cut the video and then I'll come back on once I've got the landing gear out. Right, I'm back now. I do have the landing gear finally out. It took me a little while to do, but that's sort of how it looks when you have the whole thing out. And I'll just get that so you can see it in the wall reflection. As you see there, I've got the back two out there, and then the middle one out there. But it's not the only feature underneath that you have, because you do have this first one, which is it's sort of a rotatory push under, and you have a missile launcher underneath. So that's sort of when Luke launches torpedoes at the Death Star at the end of the Battle of Yavin. You can kind of, you know, have it flipped out, and there's a fire button underneath to launch the torpedo under. So I'll just try and see if I can get that on camera, because it's going to be a bit of a problem with the size of it. But like I said, I'll just kick the landing gear slightly back up. You see this, but there's a little button just under where my thumb is. I'll just try and show that on the camera. But you have that little button here, and the missile here sort of just fires out. So I will just do that now on camera with my hands and try and just catch it there. So there we go. If I just put my hand sort of here. There you go. It takes a while to do this, but the missile sort of got stuck now. But yeah, I'm just gonna push the landing gear back up now. But you know what it sort of shows. That's there. There we go. There we go. I've got the missile out now. It's sort of meant to fire. It's more a play feature. That's meant to be there to use it with. So it's still a pretty cool addition if you want to reenact the Battle of Yavin with this thing. And the final little feature on the bottom, I'm just going to knock these up as well. If any of you remember when watching Empire Strikes Back, when Luke's packing up the X-Wing, there's actually a slot underneath here where he's putting things away, like his food and stuff. That is also openable. So if you were perhaps doing a Dagobah creation, perhaps customizing this thing to make it look like it had been in the Dagobah swamps, because Luke is of course loading possessions in there. It's not big enough so you can't fit any accessories in there, which is a shame, but that is still a nice little piece that they've Hasbro have gone into making this X-Wing like as movie accurate as possible. And I do think it's a very good piece to have for basically any fans of Luke Skywalker. And if you've got Pilot Luke and don't really have a fighter for him, this would be a good one. Because I've had this, the Pilot Luke I've got in here is actually one I've had since, I had this Pilot Luke since 2010, and because this one's from the Legacy Collection. It's that one that's constantly being re-released in the Legacy Collection, Vintage Collection stuff. I'm aware it has been re-released in the Vintage Collection again, and that's pretty awesome to see. The only addition I'd really want to give this would be probably some like a ladder on the side, because whenever you see them in the movies, they are, and in Battlefront 2 as well, they're always using ladders to get in and out of the X-Wings. So I thought that would have been a nice little addition if they'd done that. They'd added one so in case you wanted to just play Luke climbing into it and you don't have one, that would have been perfect to add on. But can't really fault that. But this is a great ship and just one fantastic piece in my collection. And I'm just chuffed a bit to finally own an X-Wing in my collection. I've had a TIE Interceptor and I've had like several different other vehicles, Jedi Starfighters and stuff, but never an X-Wing, so that's good. I had the Lego one that I gave you a look at back in 2013. That's that long ago. But I mean, like a Hasbro one. Like I've got that little Poe Dameron one I've got hanging from my ceiling, but this one's not hanging from the ceiling just because of the fact that if I try to hang up these, it'll just come straight off, and the thing will just crash to the floor and just break. But apart from that, it's a great shape, great worth having. I'd recommend getting this if you're a Luke Skywalker fan. You want a proper X-Wing to display them in, not just a smaller toy one to hang on your ceilings. This one will be worth it. Or like I said, you could display any other Rebel pilot in there, because I've got up on the shelf there. I've got Wedge and Biggs and, like I said, Grizz Fricks from Episode 6. You can switch R2 out with his droid and have that. So I think that'd be cool. I mean, the one thing I'd like to have with this would be a Y-Wing as well. So, and sort of just have them side by side. That'd be pretty cool, but I don't have that, so I'll just have to stick with what I got. But that is my Luke Skywalker's X-Wing from the Vintage Collection, and I hope you enjoyed looking at that. And do drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and do follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All links are down there in the description below. And I shall be back with some more overdue figure reviews very soon, so do stay tuned for them, and I'll hope to see you next time.